Hey everybody, welcome back. So today what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at 3 new tools for us to design and create with. The circular pattern, the linear pattern, and the transform. So let's go ahead and get into that. So the first thing is we need to get into a sketch. So I'm going to go with my default, the front sketch. And now that we have our sketch open, what we're going to do is we are going to simply use some basic shapes to create something to work with. So I'm going to create 4 circles, a 22 millimeter and a 27 millimeter. There you go. Now we're going to recreate the same shape that we have just a little bit above it. Now, if you mouse over your center point and then you just drag around it, you'll see that you automatically can create constraints. So if I go here, I got that constraint. If I go up, I can get this constraint. And if I go from here in that angle, I can create some constraints pretty easily. So I'm going to go straight up here. And I'm going to create the same thing I just did before, 22 millimeters. And then got here to 27 millimeters. Now I'm going to go ahead and dimension these guys to 30 from the center of these right here, so that what I'm going to do makes it a little better. So now I have my shapes here done. Now another little trick I want to show you is this line tool. If you come over that same trick with mouse over, if you come straight across, it creates a perfect straight line, but it lets you create a lot of stuff here. So if I do here, click on the side, this outer circle, come straight down, it literally will help me create a perfectly straight line that connects both of these circles, which it can be hard to do sometimes. So again, just click out of the line. Now, another thing you can do with the line tool, as I mentioned before, if you click on it and you hold it and drag while you're coming down and you let go, it breaks the line for you. So you don't have to worry about a continuous line. It creates a single use line instead of a continuous line. All right, so now that we have this shape, what we're going to take a look at is our pattern tool. So let's check out a linear pattern. So I'm going to select this shape right here, and a new window is going to pop up here. And you have this shape right here. Now, if I click and drag this right here, it will expand it. Now, the shapes are going to stay exactly the same equidistance to the original shape. So this shape right here is 51 millimeters, while this shape is also going to be 51 millimeters from this shape. They all keep the same sizes. Now, down here, this 3x, because it's pointing to this shape right here, this is the center of the directional controls, I can change the amount of shapes I have. So I can change it to 6. Now, it's off to the side. If I grab this, I can drag them and move them around however I want. This is our linear pattern. Now, another thing you should pay attention to is this one right here. It says 1x. So now if I click on this 1x and change it to, say, 3, I'm going to zoom out a little so you can see this better. Now it creates that. Now if I create this handle and I pull up, now it creates a set pattern exactly like it did the other. So this one goes left and right. I can pull it to the left or right. And then you have this one, which lets me make rows and columns. So I have my rows and columns now. Now, this gives you a lot of opportunity to create a bunch of different shapes. And depending on how you do a project, it lets you create the exact size distance of certain things to certain objects. Say, for example, you're creating holes and you have to use the point tool. Instead of creating 17 holes that have to be a certain distance from each other, you can create one and then have this linear tool to create the rest of them for you. So that's that. Now, I don't want to use a linear tool on this because I want to use a circular tool because this is kind of cool. What we're going to do next. So the circular tool obviously does the same as the linear pattern. I'm going to select this right here, and it gives me the controls to create linear positioning of my original object. So it's the same shape, but it's all based on this center right here. Now, I could take this little handle and drag it, and you'll see how it changes right here. Changes the positioning of it. And I can come in here and click on this one right here, just like I did the other one, change the amount that I want, and now it has 4. Now, no matter what happens, once I click on it, it's done. So if I click on this handle and drag, it will change my rotation. Not grabbing it, sorry. So if I grab it here, it will not go past a certain level. Now, if I had as you noted before, when I had 3, it gave me a maximum rotation that I could go to at a certain distance. I can't go past 240. If I change this to 5, it won't let me go past a certain level. Everything will be placed exactly to as many as you can to make a full circle. This creates a full circle at 5. Okay. So I'm going to go back to 3 because 3 is the number I wanted to. And again, once I pull this back, it won't go past this level. So there we go. So now we have what I want. And there is the shape that I needed. Obviously, some of you can already guess what this looks like. Yes, this would be a fidget spinner. If I'm just going to cut out most of these interior lines in here because they kind of cause me havoc later on. And if you ever see this kind of information come up, literally all you need to do is if you get rid of, like, say, some of these measurements right here, it will usually fix all your stuff right here. So yeah, it's usually one measurement that's over constrained, and once you just get rid of it, it just goes bye-bye. So I'm just going to finish trimming these parts out and making a solid shape here out of it, because I want this to be one solid shape for what I need to do next. Just like this. So now I'm going to finish the sketch, and we're going to start using the transform tool in a second. I'm going to go ahead and extrude this shape because I removed all the interior shapes, so I got a nice solid shape here. And I'm just going to extrude it to 7 millimeters. So now we have our shape at 7 millimeters. And we're going to take a look at the transform tool next. If you ever worked with text yet, it can be a real pain. So I'm going to go ahead and create my sketch here. But with the transform tool, it makes it a lot easier to work with. So we are going to go ahead and get this done now. So I'm going to put some text on here that I'm going to use the extrude on later. And I'm just going to click and put, just right there. And I'm just going to put as 2003, 2004, 2023, anything you want really. But I'm just going to use date. And I'm going to put it as a block text. And I want to make sure I have, I'm going to take this Roboto because it's pretty blocky and it doesn't have any serifs. So if I 3D print it, it's going to come out a little easier. We don't have to worry about the depth. And if you have a delicate 3D printer, it's easier using a thicker block text. So I'm going to go ahead and come in here. And once I place it, now I want to get that text in this area right here. And if I click on this, I can try to move it around. It's a little hinky, to say the least. So if I come in here into the tab with the linear and circular tool and I click on transform, I can grab this right here, and this will give me a whole set of new controls. So now I have a linear movement up, linear movement to the left and right, and I have a rotational control right here, plus I have a size control here. And this right here, if I click on it, it lets me drag it universally. So you won't see the original shape that you have here, but you will see the center point line, which is here, and you will see the general shape so you can understand where it's going. So I can go ahead and rotate this how I want, right there. See, it gives me a 60-degree. I can actually go, once I turn it, I can actually type in directions that I want, and it automatically moves it to it. So if I'm happy with that, that's great. Or I can continue transforming it by just clicking on the transform tool, highlighting it, and moving it. Now, if you click on the box, you get a free movement tool, so you can reposition however you want. And I want to put it somewhere right there. And this triangle lets me do resizing. So I can do a resize and then move it around however I want because I can see the shape. Now, if I zoom in closer, you can see how there's a shape here, the space right here, and I can see the positioning how I want. So I can go ahead and do that like this, okay? Now, and I can just keep making it as big as I want and just altering the dimensions and change the positions until I feel comfortable with it. And then it will update my shape, and then my text is done. It's a lot easier using this tool and trying to use, grabbing it, dimensioning it, and running around messing with it. This is really easier. So you have linear up and down, linear left and right. You have the free movement square, and you have the triangle that lets you resize. So that really makes it easier. Now, it doesn't only work with text. It works with any other shape you want. You can do it with any general shape you create on a design if you want to alter it in any kind of format. And yeah, it will constrain it back to how you need it to. And then, you're done. And then I could do whatever I want with this. So if I come in here and I extrude the text right here, just click on it, and that's it. So just extrude that text right there. And I'll just click on remove and change the directions. And it should and there you go. Obviously, this is going right through it. So I could do that if I wanted to, or I could just change the blind to however I wanted to. So I'm going to just change this to like 4 millimeters. And that should take care of it. Obviously, I didn't finish it, so it didn't take. But the sketch is still here. And I can fix it how I want. So that's it, guys. So have fun with your tools and explore, and I'll see you next time.